Oh, I mean, I think it's odd how people have gnomes in the garden. And then you see this.
Empire of the Ants is a game that you probably either haven't heard of or you saw the trailer and thought, that looks kinda neat, you're an ant, cool, before proceeding to never think about it again. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you are at all drawn to the idea of a game centered around the minuscule universe of insects, this is an absolute must play. And if you're not drawn to that in the slightest, well, you, I like ants. Funnily enough, it's not even the first game I've played for this channel where you play as an ant. Unfortunately, the other one was Ants Extreme Racing, setting the bar low. Whoa, yeah, ready for some extreme racing? But we're not here to talk about a piece of shit like Ants Extreme Racing.
Oh, that's real nice.
We're here to dive into Empire of the Ants, starting with the most obvious thing that jumps out when you lay eyes on the game. Look at it. This game is a feast for the eyes. There's no two ways around it. It is without a doubt the most stunning depiction of the insect world ever generated on a computer. Let me show you something. This is an absolute load of insects, all moving with their own animations at once, and the game doesn't drop a frame.
How does it work?
The beautiful visuals and smooth as butter performance works wonders for one of the main draws of the game, which is simply experiencing the world at such a small scale. I will say there are some parts that look slightly less impressive, such as the spider webs. I feel like the lighting and detail on them could be a bit better, but all in all, stunning game. You may be shocked to learn this game is based on a French science fiction novel. Yes, the game where you run about as an ant is based on a piece of literature. So, does that mean the story is a dense, thematic, gripping tale with twists and turns that you can't turn away from? Look, I haven't read the book it's based on, but the game's story itself is more or less just a matter of, we're ants, we need food, go get us food. Or, we're ants, we're being attacked by other types of ants, fight them. Or, we're ants, it's flooding so we need to move nest. It's a string of simple and straightforward events that justify why you're doing what you're doing. And maybe if you've read this French guy's book, you'll get a kick out of playing some of its key moments. So what do we actually do in the game? Well, a large bulk of Empire of the Ants is real-time strategy gameplay where we control legions of ants going to war with enemy ants, termites, and insects to control land, all while defending our own nests to avoid being destroyed. It's not the most complicated RTS game on the market, but the mechanics are all well thought out, polished, functional, and fun to use. So much of what I play these days is utter garbage for this YouTube channel, so it's always nice to play something where all of the mechanics actually make sense and function as intended. At the start of each mission, you'll have 1 or 2 legions, before going out and claiming new nests, accommodating for more legions, until eventually you have a ridiculously huge army to melt through the enemy headquarters, claiming victory. That is assuming that you're able to do so without the enemies destroying your armies and nests first. Scuttling about, scouting for enemy nests, tracking enemy movements, and building an army is something I find truly satisfying. And all this packed into a beautiful insect world makes it one of the most fresh gameplay experiences in recent memory. Now, this real-time strategy stuff is a pretty decent chunk of the gameplay, but it's not all of it. There are also various platforming sections where you have to traverse the land from A to B, and hunting missions where you jump on glow bugs and butterflies. These sections are a lot more basic and not as tight or gripping as the RTS missions, but I'll say they certainly improved the single-player campaign, as the RTS war gameplay is stressful, attention-demanding, and time-sensitive. That is very much where the fun comes from, but it also means you don't really have a lot of time to just take a deep breath and properly appreciate how beautiful and interesting the world is from the perspective of an ant.
How long are we here?
Huh?
How long are we here for?
If you're not interested in a game where you play as an ant, I can see how you might not be a fan because, well, it's a game where you play as an ant. But if you like what you see, it's a unique, stunning, and refreshing game. It'll never be the biggest, most talked about property on the market because, as I've made clear, it's a game where you play as an ant. But I'm glad it exists, and personally, I love ants. In fact, I'd most likely have a bias towards this game because I love ants.
I'm done! You hear me?